the death of the Paramount Consent Decrees.
Why was I happy about it? It's not a good thing.
Hey, you were excited to talk about it. That's what I meant to say.
Oh.
In very recent and shattering news, the Justice Department wants to move to get rid of the Paramount Consent Decrees, a code set up in the 1940s to regulate how movie studios distribute films to theaters. I have pictured McCann Delarim here up in the top right, quoted as saying, "We have determined that the decrees, as they are, no longer serve the public interest. Because of the horizontal conspiracy, the original violation animating these decrees has been stopped." I know this is a topic that you felt strongly about yourself, so to lead us off there, and what do you think about what are we expecting in the movie industry with this decree being terminated?
Well, I mean, look, we've looked at in topics before the upcoming death of movie theaters. Streaming is officially here as large as it's going to be, and we've got HBO Max coming in the spring. Cable is going to die. Movie theaters are going to die.
That's a conversation that we actually had on stream before.
Just go down the line here of, and we this may be a literal repeat of a conversation we've had, but Disney owns Star Wars, Marvel, Disney movies, Fox movies. If they start releasing day and day on streaming, just release it on streaming instead of going to theater at all, what gets released? Warner Brothers properties? What if they do the same with HBO Max? If they put all their movies out on HBO Max instead of going to theaters, why would they cut movie theaters in on it? Now, what this particular order had kept away was there was a point in time where a studio, let's just say Warner Brothers, was going to release a brand new Harry Potter. They could go to the movie theaters and they can say, if you want Harry Potter, you can't release anything else this weekend or for the next 2 weeks. We want this theater, this theater, this theater, and this theater, this amount of show times, and everything in the lobby is geared towards advertising our movie. If you can't agree by those terms, you don't get Harry Potter.
Yep.
Having the legislation in place gave more of a actual distribution method, where as long as they signed with the theater chain, it was showed just as much as any other potential movie. The theater chains had the ability to depict what they put where in their own theaters. With this, the movie studios themselves could stronghold the theater chains. That's what we're now heading back to.
Do you think that a lot of these arguments that I'm seeing strike me as like worst case scenarios? And we saw a lot of that when net neutrality was up for being taken away.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what you're going to see. You're going to end up seeing Disney make their own movie theaters to show only their major event content.
I almost wonder if that would just end up costing them more money than it would just
Depends on where they are.
It would.
They're not going to go nationwide and have one in every town or more than one in every town. They're going to select.
Okay, I mean, I can see that being viable. I don't see that as making as much
That's if
income.
they do it at all.
Yeah, no, that's because that won't make them as much income as striking these deals with theaters or just releasing to the stream. And I agree with your argument about how movie theaters, cable, it's all gonna die. Streaming services, actually mentioned in the article, Delarim went on to say that much of our movie watching is not in theaters at all, and that we cannot pretend that the business of film distribution and exhibition remains the same as it was 80 years ago. And that's true because in this decree, streaming services like Netflix, Amazon were not affected at all. It doesn't apply to them.
Don't think for a single second that this might not just be the next step in making sure theaters die, because at that point you've got companies like Disney, Warner Brothers, that can flat out tell a movie theater, no, you're not showing that art house flick. So where do those art house flicks or indie flicks go? They have to go to a streaming service to get distribution now.
Exactly.
Which means the money goes straight to one of the majors.
Exactly.
There's nowhere to go now unless you go to a streaming site. That's your distribution model. There was just a big disruption online because Netflix announced that they were going to allow viewers to change viewing speed. So in other words, you could either watch, for example, Puzzle Talk at the rate in which I am talking right now, or you could go in the settings and change it to 1.5, and I'll start to talk like this, and you'll see the show in about 1.5 faster than you would initially.
You can do that?
Yes.
Oh, I hate it.
Well, here's the thing. Studios and directors, Judd Apatow was one of them, lost their marbles over this announcement. YouTube's been doing it for years. You could rent any movie on YouTube.
Yeah, 100%.
And on YouTube, you can go in and you can change the speed. Now, having said that, every audiobook I listen to, or any podcast I listen to off YouTube, I always put it up to 1.5. I finish it faster.
It's fair. That's fair. Can't argue that. If it's for the sake of like efficiency and time, then I can't argue that. I guess I would, if it's me, I prefer to watch the film or re-listen to something as it was meant to be.
I forget what movie it was, but a movie came out recently where the director was like, this was intended to be viewed at X ratio and this and that. And it was like, there was like 4 movie theaters in the whole country that could even do that. So, yeah, I understand the fact that a director or an editor wants you to view the art they created as they intended it to be viewed.
Yeah.
And that's what they should be judged on. But people aren't going to the movie theaters like they were.
No.
People are watching your movies on their mobile phone.
I think
the aspect ratio is not what you intended.
This year I've gone to the movies a total of once.
So, there you go. We're in a different world now. Every form of entertainment is viewed however the viewer wants now.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to change the speed at which they consume it, it just means they're going to consume more.
So, do you think that this is going to be a bad thing for the movie industry? Do you think that, I
think they're all just going to go to streaming. And, there are companies that stream to movie theaters. So, you could still see Disney Plus stream movies in theaters.
Yeah.
It becomes more of a gala event than it's Thursday night, let's go to the movies.
Again, a lot of what I'm seeing as far as movie theaters go, now this is all speculation. All of this is speculation. This is what we think is going to happen. This is
I'm
what
pretty sure that's what's going to happen.
Well, this is what he's pretty sure is going to happen.
I'm pretty good at market trends.
But again, I think we're seeing a lot of these arguments as kind of like worst case scenarios. Studios it's giving studios and business owners the potential to do these, corrupt, awful things. It's whether or not they actually act upon it, because it was the same thing for net neutrality, where your carrier could block you from using certain websites if you didn't pay for a premium.
Well, keep in mind, the movie theaters can still just say no.
That's true.
If Warner Brothers or Disney says you can't show this movie unless you do X, Y, Z, they can just say no.
That's true.
What are they going to show? Probably nothing that's going to make the kind of money that the next Avengers movie would make.
My next topic, the next thing I was going to say was that probably hurt their profits if they don't get the movies that they need.
Yeah. And we hope you'll join us next time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't below. Like, comment, subscribe.